Hey everybody, thank you for joining us here at the First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Maria Moreau. This is another installment of Catch Up Quick, where we like to join you at the top of every hour to get you caught up on the latest headlines making news in and around Metro Atlanta, some stories that are being talked about on social media. This one, big news yesterday, a lot of people on social talking about this morning. The home of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was almost a catastrophe, but thanks to the quick efforts and hard work of some good Samaritans that saved the day, this area was preserved, as you can see here on your screen. Police tell us that brave bystanders stopped this woman from trying to burn down the childhood home of MLK Jr. Now, Atlanta News First Rebecca Schramm has been out at Auburn Avenue throughout the morning. That's just east of downtown Atlanta. She has the latest details for you.
Two men visiting from Utah happened to be here in the area. They were reading a plaque outside the home when a woman walked right past them onto the porch. They thought maybe she was part of the maintenance crew, but what she did next prompted one of them to get out his phone and start recording. And take a look. She was pouring liquid from a gasoline can all over the front porch. He saw that she had left her keys and her wallet on the grass, so he grabbed those to try to keep her from leaving. After that, two off-duty New York City police officers, who also happened to be visiting, followed her and then held her down until Atlanta police could arrive. It's unclear why the woman would want to burn down the home that's the birthplace of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's owned by the National Park Service and just closed recently for a big renovation project. Atlanta firefighters, along with a hazmat crew, spent quite a while at the house last night scrubbing down the areas where the woman had poured the gasoline to make sure the place wouldn't ignite. Back to those out-of-town bystanders, listen to what the one who recorded the video told us. He said he didn't realize at first that the woman had also left a lighter on the lawn. Here's what happened when she came down from the porch.
She grabbed a lighter from the grass and started to come back up the stairs. So I stood at the stairs and said, "You can't do this," and blocked her for about a minute, kept blocking her from going up the stairs. And when she couldn't get back up the stairs and saw that I had her keys, she walked quickly down and started heading down the street this way.
If the witnesses hadn't been here and interrupted what she was doing, I mean, it could have been a matter of seconds before the house was engulfed in flames. It was really about the timing and the witnesses being in the right place at the right time.
The Atlanta police chief was also here last night. He said those witnesses saved a crown jewel of this city. The King Center sent a statement thanking those bystanders. As for the woman who was arrested, she should have her first court appearance soon. We will let you know what more we learn about her. In Atlanta, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
And that was our Rebecca Schramm following the latest details for you. All right, I want to talk about this story for a moment. A decision that could influence your vote in future elections as soon as next year's election, 2024. A new and improved congressional district map is on Governor Brian Kemp's desk now for his signature. The Georgia House gave a final approval yesterday. Those redrawn maps now comply with a federal judge's order to establish an additional black majority district. The maps will now go back to the federal judge, that same one, who will decide on December 20th if those new maps stand. And some new developments this morning about the shooting at the University of Nevada in Las Vegas. This comes after a gunman killed 3 people and critically wounded a 4th before he was killed by police. The shooter has been identified as Tony Polito, a former college professor in his 60s with ties to the University of Georgia. Sources say Polito had recently applied for a job at UNLV and was denied. Now, those 3 victims have been identified. I want to show them to you on the screen here. Professor Jerry Chang and 39-year-old assistant professor Patricia Velas. Now, the 3rd victim has been identified, but the Clark County coroner is working to notify family before releasing their name. This is a tragedy that has sparked debate and conversation about gun laws and guns on college campuses. State lawmakers here in Georgia are pushing two different solutions to the same problem. Georgia has laws that allow guns on college campuses at this time. However, some are torn as to whether this will really keep the peace. Atlanta News First reporter Doug Reardon has more from both sides of the argument.
67-year-old Anthony Polito got his master's degree from the University of Georgia in 2002. When Georgia lawmakers convene for session next year, they'll be considering a bill that would provide firearms training to Georgia teachers. But as one expert we talked to today noted, in the case of that UNLV shooting, the shooter was a career educator.
We need safety. Like, it's not a want, it's a need at this point.
Lily Luttrell is a sophomore at Georgia Tech. After 3 students were killed on the campus of UNLV, she's thinking about her own safety a world away.
I was heartbroken, obviously, and frustrated because it's final season and young people shouldn't be worried about their safety on college campuses. They should be worried about studying for their finals.
The tragic act, carried out by a career professor who attended University of Georgia in 2002, has reignited the debate over gun laws here and in Washington.
Our precious children are afraid to go to school.
Speaking on the Senate floor the same day as the UNLV shooting, Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock called again for universal background checks, something Americans overwhelmingly support according to multiple polls.
So at root, this is a democracy problem. The question is, who owns our democracy and at what cost to our children and to our families?
In Georgia, a proposal that will be before state lawmakers next year will pay teachers who undergo firearms and safety training. Retired police officer and firearms trainer Charles Yarbaugh is skeptical of giving the power to educators.
As far as them going to the range and shooting, that's all well fine and good. But the reality of it is, when you're talking about real world, it's a big, big difference.
In the meantime, students like Lily will do their best to stay alert and look ahead to a brighter, safer future.
My generation, we are like at the forefront of getting like just common sense gun regulations involved.
There's currently no federal agency that's specifically tracking shootings on college campuses. In Midtown, Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
And you have just 8 hours left to apply for a campaign offering a year of free rent. An Atlanta investment group is giving 3 people a break from their rent payments. It's called the Free Rent ATL campaign. It's been launched by Roots Real Estate Investment. Now, the goal, as they say, is to, quote, spread awareness about the widening wealth gap in our city of Atlanta and to help 3 residents get a much-needed leg up going into 2024. The deadline to apply is 7 p.m. tonight, so you have just 8 hours. Now, to qualify, you do have to live within 20 miles of Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta. We have a full link for where you can apply on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. Doesn't hurt if you are somebody who qualifies, who lives near the Benz, to apply. You might be your lucky day, and you might be one of the 3. We'll keep you updated on what comes out of that. All right, and ending things on a good note here. Hannukah kicked off yesterday. Today is the second night of the Jewish celebration of light. It began again at sundown yesterday, continuing over the next 7 days. Now, for many this year, it represents hope in an especially dark time. Exactly 2 months ago, the Israel-Hamas war began, so this is the first Hanukkah that many are thinking of the war abroad and holding each other just a little closer. Hanukkah lasts for 8 days. The celebration is a commemoration of the miracle of the oil in the Second Temple. It is said that there was only enough oil to last 1 day, but it miraculously lasted 8. Jewish people around the world will light an additional candle tonight and over the next week, with the menorah traditionally placed in a window facing out as a way of spreading light to the larger community. That is a good message to look out for the light in your life, right? Today, make it a great day. We hope you stay up to date by downloading our Atlanta News First app so we can keep up with all of the news and headlines happening in and around the metro community. For now, we will take you at 11:30 through another look of your weekend forecast with meteorologist Ella Dorsey, followed by our Atlanta News First newscast at noon. Make sure you tune in right here.